October 2nd, 1980. A 14-year-old boy sits devastated in front of a closed-circuit television in Albany, New York. Tears streak down his face as he watches his hero, Muhammad Ali, take a brutal beating from heavyweight champion Larry Holmes. This isn't just any ordinary boxing match to the boy, it's the shattering of an invincible image. The greatest, the man who had seemed untouchable for so long, was being systematically dismantled in the ring. The boy's name was Mike Tyson. And in that moment, something profound was happening inside him. The seeds of a lifelong connection were being planted. A connection that would eventually reshape boxing history. Before we continue, I need to ask you something. This channel only exists because of you. You are important to me, and I know you value stories told with soul. If you feel something genuine just from this beginning, subscribe now. Seriously. It costs nothing for you, but means everything to me as I create each story with love, inshallah. The car ride home after the fight, nobody spoke. The mood was somber, almost funeral-like. Mike sat beside his mentor and father figure, legendary boxing trainer Cus D'Amato. The elderly trainer had brought his young protege to witness greatness, but instead they had witnessed the fall of a king. What happened the very next morning would forge an invisible bond between two of boxing's most iconic figures. A phone call that would set in motion one of the most poetic tales of vengeance, respect, and fulfillment of a promise that the sporting world has ever known. The morning after Ali's devastating loss to Holmes, Cus D'Amato did something unexpected. He called Muhammad Ali directly. Despite the previous night's crushing defeat, Ali answered. "I have this young black kid who is going to be heavyweight champion someday," Cus told Ali over the crackling phone line. "And I want you to talk to him." With trembling hands, young Mike Tyson took the receiver. His voice, already recognizable for its high pitch and slight lisp, a feature that had made him the target of bullies for years, now shook with emotion as he spoke to his hero. "When I grow up," the teenage Tyson vowed to Ali, "I'll fight Holmes and I'll get him back for you." It was a bold promise from a kid who, at that moment, was just a troubled 14-year-old from Brownsville, Brooklyn. A kid with 38 juvenile arrests already to his name. A kid who had found salvation in the Catskill gym of an aging trainer who believed in him when nobody else did. Ali could have laughed off the boy's declaration. He could have dismissed it as childish fantasy. Instead, he listened. And somehow, through the telephone line, the defeated champion recognized something in the voice of this unknown boy. A fire, a hunger, a destiny. For Tyson, that conversation was transformative. To be acknowledged by his idol in a moment of such vulnerability created a sacred obligation. It wasn't just a promise made in the emotion of the moment. It became his mission. If this story has made you feel something already, no matter how small, don't leave without giving something back. Comment and subscribe now. Each story here is crafted with care to touch people like you. Because what comes next will turn everything upside down, and you'll want to be here when this story reveals its most powerful truths. The path from that heartfelt promise to its fulfillment was far from straightforward. For the next several years, Mike Tyson dedicated himself completely to the craft of boxing under D'Amato's unwavering guidance. Days began before dawn and ended long after sunset, with countless hours of training, studying film, and honing technique in between. "I hated every minute of training," Ali once famously said, "but I told myself, don't quit, suffer now, and live the rest of your life as a champion." Tyson embodied this philosophy completely. Cus saw something special in the young fighter. "This kid will be the youngest heavyweight champion in boxing history," he would tell anyone who would listen, often to skeptical ears. But within the walls of their Catskill gym, Tyson and D'Amato built not just a fighting style, but a mindset of invincibility. Me and Cuss had huge egos, Tyson would later recall. We talked a lot of trash. Me and Cuss would talk about how nobody could beat us and how we were invincible. That was our mindset. The boxing world began to take notice of the teenage phenomenon. His amateur career was spectacular, compiling a record of 26 wins and 6 losses with multiple junior Olympic gold medals. But personal tragedy struck when Cus D'Amato died in November 1985, just as Tyson was on the cusp of professional breakthrough. The man who had rescued him from juvenile detention, given him a home, and molded him into a fighting machine would not live to see his prophecy fulfilled. Despite this devastating loss, Tyson channeled his grief into his training. The following year, at the age of 20, he defeated Trevor Berbick to become the youngest heavyweight champion in history, just as Cuss had predicted. The first part of the destiny that had been spoken over his life had come true. But there was still a promise to keep, a debt to be paid on behalf of his fallen hero. January 22, 1988. Atlantic City's convention hall buzzed with anticipation. In the dressing room, Mike Tyson, now the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world at just 21 years old, prepared to defend his title against former champion Larry Holmes. Holmes was 38, well past his prime, but still dangerous. The same Larry Holmes who had systematically dismantled Muhammad Ali 8 years earlier. The same Larry Holmes who had made a boy cry as he watched his hero fall. Few knew the emotional significance this fight held for Tyson. This wasn't just another defense of his title. This was personal. This was about fulfilling a promise made to a legend during a phone call that had changed his life. As Tyson laced up his boots, there was a commotion at the door of his dressing room. Muhammad Ali himself had arrived to witness the fight. Before Tyson headed to the ring, Ali approached him. Leaning close, he whispered, "Remember what you said. Get him for me." That reminder was all Tyson needed. When the bell rang, what unfolded wasn't merely a boxing match. It was the execution of a vow made 7 years earlier by a tearful boy to his fallen hero. Tyson attacked Holmes with frightening intensity and precision. The older fighter had no answer for the younger champion's speed and power. In the 4th round, Tyson landed a devastating right hand that sent Holmes crashing to the canvas. Holmes managed to struggle to his feet, only to be floored again. On the 3rd knockdown, the referee waved off the fight. The arena erupted. Mike Tyson had not just defended his title, he had avenged Muhammad Ali. In the press conference after the fight, Tyson didn't boast about his victory or taunt his defeated opponent. Instead, with surprising vulnerability, he spoke about what the win meant to him. "I was offended by how badly Holmes beat Ali," he admitted. "This was for Muhammad. What began as a heartbroken teenager's promise had come full circle." The boy who had cried watching his hero fall had grown into the man who settled the score on his behalf. It wasn't just a victory for Tyson. It was a moment of poetic justice that transcended sport itself. The story of Mike Tyson's promise to Muhammad Ali teaches us something profound about the power of our words. A simple promise made in a moment of raw emotion had shaped the trajectory of Tyson's early career. It had given additional purpose to his relentless training and added deeper meaning to an already significant achievement. But more than that, it reminds us of the invisible connections that bind us together across time and circumstance. Ali never publicly spoke about that phone call with the young Tyson, yet he showed up at that pivotal moment to witness the fulfillment of a promise he had accepted years before. In doing so, he completed a circle of mentorship and respect that epitomizes the best of what sports can inspire. The story also reveals something essential about legacy. Muhammad Ali's impact extended far beyond his own achievements in the ring. By accepting the heartfelt vow of an unknown boy from Brooklyn, he participated in the cultivation of the next generation's greatness. He allowed his own defeat to become the catalyst for another's defining victory. In our own lives, we rarely know the full impact of our words or actions. The encouragement we offer, the belief we show in others, the time we take to listen when someone reaches out, these seemingly small moments can alter the course of a life. As Ali himself once said, "I've made my share of mistakes along the way, but if I have changed even one life for the better, I haven't lived in vain." A phone call, a promise, a fulfillment. The greatest gift we can offer another human being is to believe in their potential when they need it most. Muhammad Ali gave that gift to Mike Tyson, and in return, Tyson gave Ali the gift of vindication. It's a cycle of human connection that continues to inspire decades later. If you've made it this far and felt each word, don't leave without subscribing. I tell these stories with my heart in my hand to reach people like you, who feel, who get emotional, who truly live. If this touched you, give something back. Comment, subscribe. Join this family with me until the next video.